Good morning, children. How are you? I hope you all are fine and healthy at your home. Today we will start chapter number 5 from your book, First Flight. And your chapter name is The 100 Dresses. This is your part 1. Part 2 in another chapter number 6. In this chapter, The 100 Dresses, we will talk about a girl who stitches या who create, who draw 100 dresses at a time, who draws, who imagines. So tell me, how do we judge the people around us? How do we judge the people around us? हमारे चारों ओर जो लोग होते हैं उनको हम कैसे जज करते हैं? By their money, by their profession and by their wealth. कोई ना कोई हमारे पास क्राइटेरिया होता है. And mostly people judge others person by their personality, by their looking से भी कहते हैं बहुत she is a very smart girl, she looks very beautiful. इस तरीके से तो हम by looking, by her his or her intelligent भी हम जज करते हैं. How do you feel when you see a poor person? Mostly when we see a poor person, mostly we feel very regret and very pity for them, and we wants to do something for the poor. If we are a human, so we wants to do something. हम भी चाहते हैं कि उन पुअर्स के लिए अगर हमारे पास कुछ है तो हम उनके लिए अपनी अकॉर्डिंग कुछ कर सकें. Have you ever had a needy person? Mostly in other ways, कुछ ना कुछ तरीके से हम नीडी पर्सन की हेल्प कर सकते हैं. नीडी पर्सन हु वांट समथिंग एंड हु नीड अ वेरी अर्जेंट टू समथिंग. सो नीडी पर्सन की कभी आपने कभी हेल्प की है? सो दिस इज अ चैप्टर अबाउट अ गर्ल. हर नेम इज वांडा पेंड्रोस्की. वांडा पेंड्रोस्की जो है बहुत ही एक सेंसिटिव अकाउंट इसमें बताया गया है. हाउ अ पुअर यंग गर्ल इज जज्ड बाय हर क्लासमेट्स एंड हु गोज टू स्कूल विद अदर अमेरिकन children in an American town. These other children see Wanda as different in many ways. किस तरीके से उसके क्लासमेट्स उसको different ways में देखते हैं. So to more understand, let's read this chapter. So children, this is your chapter number 5, The 100 Dresses Part 1 by L. Bosser Astor. So your chapter start from this page. Today, Monday, Wanda Petrowski was not in her seat. But nobody, not even Peggy. Peggy is her best friend. But nobody, not even Peggy and Madeline, the girls who started all the fun, noticed her absence. Usually Wanda sat in the seat next to the last seat in the last row in room 13. She sat in the corner of the room where the rough boys who did not make good marks sat. The corner of the room where there was most scuffing means noisy dragging of feet, most roars of laughter when anything funny was said, and most mud and dirt on the floor. Wanda did not sit there because she was rough and noisy. On the contrary, she was very quiet and rarely said anything at all, and nobody had ever heard her laugh out loud. Sometimes she twisted her mouth into the crude sort of a smile, but that was all. Nobody knew exactly why Wanda sat in that seat, unless it was because she came all the way from Boggins Height and her feet were usually caked. But no one really thought much about Wanda Petrowski. Once she sat in the corner of the room. The time when they thought about Wanda was outside of the school hours at noon time, when they when they were coming back to school or in the morning early before school began, when groups of 2 or 3 or even more would be talking and laughing on their way to the schoolyard. Then sometimes they waited for Wanda to have fun with her. The next day, Tuesday, Wanda was not in school either and nobody noticed her absence again. But on Wednesday, Peggy and Maddie, who sat down front with other children who got good marks and who didn't track in a whole lot of mud, did notice that Wanda wasn't there. Peggy was the most popular girl in the school. She was pretty. She had many pretty clothes and her hair was curly. Mary was her closest friend and reason Peggy and Maddie noticed Wanda's absence was because Wanda had made them late to school. They had waited and waited for Wanda to have fun with her and she just hadn't come. They often waited for Wanda Pentoski to have fun with her. Wanda Pentoski, most of the children in room 13 did not have names like that. They had names easy to say like Thomas, Smith, Alan. There was one boy named Bounce, Willie Bounce, and people thought that was funny, but not funny in the same way that Pentoski was. Wanda did not have any friends. She came to school alone and went home alone. She always wore a faded blue dress that didn't hang right. It was clean, but it looked as though it had never been ironed properly. She didn't have any friends, but a lot of girls talked to her. Sometimes they surrounded her in the schoolyard as she stood watching the little girls play hopscotch on the worn hard ground. Wanda, Peggy would say in the most courteous manner as though she was talking to Miss Mason. Wanda, she had say, giving one of her friends a nod. Tell us, how many dresses did you say you had hanging up in your closet? 100, Wanda would say. 100, exclaimed all the little girls incredulously, and the little ones would stop playing hopscotch and listen. Yea, 100 all lined up, said Wanda. Then her thin lips drew together in silence. What are they like? All silk? I bet, said Peggy. Yea, all silk, all colors. Velvet too. Yea, velvet too. 100 dresses, Wanda would repeat exclusively, all lined up in my closet. Then they had let her go, and then before she had gone very far, they couldn't help bursting into shrieks and peals of laughter. 100 dresses. Obviously, the only dress Wanda had was the blue one she wore every day. So why she say she had 100? What a story. How many shoes did you say you had? 60 pairs, all lined up in my closet. Cries of exaggerated politeness greeted this, all alike. Oh no, every pair is different, all colors, all lined up. Peggy, who had thought up this game, and Maddie, her inseparable friend, were always the last to leave. Finally, Wanda would move up the street, her eyes dull and her mouth closed, hitching her left shoulder every now and then in the funny way she had, finishing the walk to school alone. Peggy was not really cruel. She protected small children from bullies, and she cried for hours if she saw an animal mistreated. If anybody had said to her, "Don't you think that is a cruel way to treat Wanda?" she would have been very surprised. Cruel? Why did the girl say she had 100 dresses. Anybody could tell that that was a lie. Why did she want to lie? And she wasn't just an ordinary person. Else, why did she have a name like that? Anyway, they never made her cry. As for Maddie, this business of asking Wanda every day how many dresses and how many hats and how many this and that, she was bothering her. Maddie was poor herself. She usually wore somebody's hand me down clothes. Thank goodness she didn't live up on Boggins Heights or have a funny name. Sometimes where Sometimes, when Peggy was asking Wanda those questions in that mocking, polite voice, Maddie felt embarrassed and studied the marbles in the palm of her hand, rolling them around and saying nothing herself. Not that she felt sorry for Wanda. Exactly, she would never have paid any attention to Wanda if Peggy hadn't invented the dresses game. But suppose Peggy and all the others started in on her next. She wasn't as poor as Wanda, perhaps, but she was poor. Of course, she would have more sense than to say she had 100 dresses. Still, she would not like for them to begin on her. She wished Peggy would stop teasing Wanda Pentrosky. Today, even though they had been late to school, Maddie was glad she had not had to make fun of Wanda. She worked her arithmetic problems absent-mindedly, 8 times 8. Let's see, she wished she had the nerve to write Peggy a note because she knew she never would have the courage to speak right out to Peggy, to say, "Hey Peg, let's stop asking Wanda how many dresses she has." When she finished her arithmetic, she did start a note to Peggy. Suddenly she paused and shuddered. She pictured herself in the schoolyard, a new target for Peggy and the girls. Peggy might ask her where she got the dress that she had on, and Maddie would have to say it was one of Peggy's old ones that Maddie's mother had tried to disguise with new trimmings so on one in room 13 would recognize it. The next day it was drizzling. Maddie and Peggy hurried to school under Peggy's umbrella. Naturally, on a day like this, they didn't want for Wanda Pentrosky on the corner of Oliver Street, the street that far, far away under the railroad tracks and up the hills led to Boggins Height. Anyway, they weren't taking chances on being late today because today was important. Why today was important? Do you think Miss Mason will announce the winners today? Asked Peggy. Oh, I hope so. The minute we get in, said Maddie. Of course, you will win, Peg. Hope so, said Peggy eagerly. The minute they entered the classroom, they stopped short and gasped. There were drawings all over the room, on every lace and windowsill, dazzling colors and brilliant, lavish designs, all drawn on great sheets of wrapping papers. There must have been 100 of them all lined up. These must be the drawings for the contest. They were. Everybody stopped and whistled or murmured admiringly. As soon as the class had assembled, Miss Mason announced a winner. Jack Bagels had won for the boys, she said, and his design for an outboard motor was on exhibition in room 12. along with the sketches by all the other boys. As for the girl, she said although just 1 or 2 sketches were submitted by most, one girl and room 13 should be proud of her. This one girl actually drew 100 designs, all different and all beautiful. In the opinion of the judges, any one of the drawings is worthy of winning the prize. I am very happy to say that Wanda Pentrosky is the winner of Girls' Medal. Unfortunately, Wanda has been absent from school for some days and is not here to receive the apologies this is due to her. Let us hope she will be back tomorrow. Now class, you may file round the room quietly and look at her executed drawings. The children burst in apologies and even the boys were glad to have a chance to stamp on the floor, put their fingers in their mouths and whistle though they were not interested in dresses. Look, Peg, whispered Maddie. There is that blue one she told us about. Isn't it beautiful? Yes, said Peggy. And here is that green one, boy, and I thought I could draw. So this is a story about Wanda Pentrosky. यहाँ पर एक कंपटीशन होता है, वो हमेशा यही बोलती है कि आई हैव 100 ड्रेसेस, आई हैव 60 पेयर्स ऑफ शूज, और पैगी उससे हमेशा यही सेम क्वेश्चंस करती है, हाउ मेनी ड्रेसेस डू यू हैव. सो एट लास्ट एक कंपटीशन होता है बॉयज़ और गर्ल्स में. बॉयज़ को मोटर बनानी होती है एंड गर्ल्स को ड्रेसेस बनानी होती है, ड्रेस बनानी होती है. सो वांडा ड्रॉज 100 ड्रेसेस एंड दे आर वेरी ब्राइट कलर्स. वो उसमें ब्राइट कलर से फिल करती है, बहुत ही सुंदर ड्राइंग्स बनाती है. और मैडी ये श्योर थी क्योंकि पैगी इज़ अ गुड पेंटर, सो उसे ये श्योर था कि पैगी ही जीतेगी, पैगी ही विन होगी, उसे ही मेडल मिलेगा. लेकिन जब मैम मिस मैशन अनाउंस करती है कि वांडा गॉट द मेडल, वांडा गॉट द प्राइज फॉर this competition and to draw these 100 dresses, Peggy also surprised to see all different dresses, different designs of dresses. So in this story, at last in the end of the story, Wanda draws 100 dresses in drawings, not in real life. She has 100 dresses in drawing, not in real life. She hasn't any real life any dress at all, except she wore one. So this is a story. If you have any doubt, read this chapter once or twice thoroughly. Have a nice day. Thank you very much.